I was then press consular in Washington, D.C. But before that time, I want to go back to this headline in the newspaper that said, U.S. approached me on Doe's successor. I need to explain it before people misinterpret it. When I talk about Doe's successor, I do not mean his successor in 1980. That's not what I mean. I mean a successor they were looking for as far back as 1986. The Nima raid had gone on. Following the Nima raid, they had arrested Kolanko Luo, Johnny Boy Herring, who were working with Jebo before Jebo died, and then he became bodyguard to Kuangba, and some other people, and they have put them in jail. It came to a place where they announced that Johnny Boy Herring and some other people would be executed. By then, I was assigned to the Embassy of Liberia in the United States. By then, I was a member. I used to attend Mother Doe's prayer meetings on Wednesdays and Fridays in Silver Spring. Mrs. Thelma Awori, she's now Dr. Thelma Awori, used to attend that same prayer meeting with us. When I got the telex to say that they were going to execute Johnny Boy Herring and some other people, I took the telex to the prayer meeting and told Mother Doe that we should pray so that something would change, so that they won't kill these people. And you can ask Miss Dr. Awori, she was there with us when I said that. And so we declare Wednesday and Friday a period of fasting and praying so that God will change President Doe's mind. That was going on for some time, and then by Monday, Doe had announced that he was still going to execute the people. We continued the fasting and the praying. The ambassador to the United States, George Doe Washington, Ambassador George Doe Washington, General George Doe Washington, was called to the State Department and was told that the American government will not take very kindly continuous executions in Liberia. He was told that in Congress there was a multi-million-dollar package being processed to help Liberia. He was told that should we execute Johnny Boy Herring and the rest of the people, Congress will find it difficult convincing the people of the United States that there was need to support the Doe's government. Therefore, Ambassador Washington should inform the government that it will not be in the government's best interest to execute Johnny Boy Herring and the rest of the people. I was press and cultural counselor in Washington, D.C. at that time. I was there. Mr. Kanyon Doe was there. Mr. Nathaniel Bromsky was there. They are all alive. Mr. John Molu was the financial counselor, and he knew everything because we kept him up to date. He's now ambassador at large. Check him out. The ambassador returned from the State Department and drafted a telex to President Doe. Because he was a military person, trained military man, his military language never left him. So the telex said to President Doe, I was summoned to the State Department, and I was told that the United States government will not approve of you executing these people, and it will have financial implications for the money they intend to give you. When Doe heard that, saw that, he blew up. What did people got to do with me? They got nothing to do with my internal affairs. Oh, he blew up bad. Then he announced, oh, because of the late money they sent for me to have the Constitutional Convention and the election, that's why they're doing this thing. Okay, I'm sending that money back. And it was announced in Monrovia that President Doe intended to send back the money that the Americans had given him for the Constitutional Convention and the elections. While I served as editor-in-chief of the New Liberian newspaper in 1983, before I was assigned to the United States, I cultivated the friendship of Bradley Swanson, S-W-A-N-S-O-N, Swanson, who was the political officer at Mamba Point, Embassy of the United States of America. We had a very cordial relationship. When I got in Washington, D.C. as press consular, Bradley Swanson had been transferred to Washington, D.C. to work with Chester Crocker. And so it became a very good situation for the embassy, because now I knew somebody in the State Department. When President Doe announced that he was going to send back the American money because they were interfering in his internal affairs, I received an urgent telephone call from Bradley Swanson, who is still alive, and you can check him out through the State Department. The State Department always know where the former people are at this time. So BRADLEY-SWANSON, check him out. Call me to the State Department. Boyer, I said yes. He said meet me at the State Department. Do not come through the C Street diplomatic entrance. Meet me in front of the State Department in the park under Albert Einstein's statue. We have some serious talking to do about your country. I will supply lunch. So okay. I drove from the embassy to the State Department and went straight under the statue and met him sitting there. And he shared the lunch, and I was anxious to know what was going on. And he said, your country is in trouble, and we have determined that you can save the situation. And I said, how? He said, did you hear the announcement from your president? I said, yes. He said, the United States will not take that kindly. He said, for almost 10 years, we have given that man everything he requested of us. Now he wants to slap us in the face by telling us he's going to send back that money to us. He said, I'm telling you, do anything you can do to stop that money from coming back to Liberia. Because I'm to the United States. He said, if that money is sent back, it will not be good for your country. We will not take it with our hands down. But before he called me into the park to discuss, President Ronald Reagan had gone to a press conference at the White House. And some of the press people had asked him, we heard that Liberia said they're sending back the money you gave them. What do you think about it? The old man laughed. And he said, well, I tell you, Wherever on the globe America's interest is jeopardized, we will strike before the world gets the news. Wherever on the globe America's interest is jeopardized or threatened, we will strike before the world gets the news. That's all he said about that question. It was after that Bradley Swanson invited me to the park. I'm saying it to clarify these headlines, because very soon people will go and say, I knew who were coming here in 1990. No, there was a 1985-86 situation. So Bradley said, right now your country has been taken to the situation room. Right now your country has been taken to the top floor of the State Department, which is the situation room. The situation room is a room where when you go, there are monitors all around, and if there is some particular problem in a particular country, they zoom all the satellite on your country and they see every movement that's going on. And we are watching situation there on a minute by minute basis. He said, Emmanuel, you have been my friend, and I can tell you, you can save the situation. Do anything you can do to stop Mr. Doe from sending back that money. He said, because I am working from inside, and he will not be there one day after he sends that money. So I sat there stunned. And then he went on to talk. He said, do you know why he is still there after he made that announcement? I said, no, sir. He said, because we have not found a viable alternative. Because we have not found a viable alternative. Mr. Swanson is still alive. The American Embassy at Mamba Point and the State Department can link you with him. Check it out. Booyah does not lie. We have not found a viable alternative. He said, you know, we have been checking out the situation on the ground. You know, we had thought about Henry Duba, but he's too weak. We thought about some other people, but no, we're not satisfied. And you know, we wanted to go and get Pearson from Israel, but we are afraid that if we bring Pearson in and Doe gets to know about it, Pearson could die before anything happens. So this is our problem. So the State Department, knowing that I have worked in Liberia before as the political officer, has contacted me to see what we can do to stop Doe from sending back this money so that we do not have to take action. So your country destiny is in your hands. I place it in your hand today. Do anything you can do to stop this money from coming. If the money comes, don't blame us for what happens. I was just a press counselor. I was not the ambassador. I was not the deputy ambassador. I was not a political officer. But because of my friendship with Bradley Swanson, he could tell me that. I said, okay, Bradley, I do not have any direct connection with Doe, but I'm going to talk to people who I think will talk to him. And if you say that if we don't send the money back, everything will be all right, I can guarantee to you that we'll make everything all right. I left the State Department and I went straight to the office of Mr. John Mullu, who was a financial officer, the same John Mullu who was in charge of Maritime, who is now ambassador. He's still alive. Check him out. I said, John, we're in trouble, man. He said, what happened? I said, our man in Moravia has said something again to stir up trouble. And I explained to John Mullu the situation. John Mullu said, well, the only thing I can tell you is that I need to get on the telephone and call Gal Jones because he's related to Doe, and right now he's in Switzerland attending a conference. So I told him, John, that conference he's attending is zero. Because if something happened back home, he's not going back. So call him now while I'm standing here. Tell him to get the next available plane and come to Washington, D.C. for damage control. So John Molu called Minister Jones while I was standing there. In a few hours, Minister Jones arrived in Washington, D.C. The next day, we met at Mr. Molu's office. We explained to Minister Jones what had happened and what the people said. And they told us in no uncertain terms that if Doe insulted the United States by sending back that money, he will not be in the mansion one day after he sent it back. I mean, they made it clear. So we told Gal Jones, we brought him, and that I was in touch with Bradley Swanson and a guy at the Liberian desk called Joe McBride. And I was going to arrange a meeting with Gal Jones, Joe McBride, Bradley Swanson, John Molu, and myself in John Molu's office. Because the State Department had told us that we do not want to deal with the embassy of Liberia for this time. And we'll not deal with our ambassador until he leaves. They said because he is the cause of this problem. Then Swanson told me, he said, don't your ambassador have sense? You say he's been chief of staff, he doesn't know how things operate? He doesn't know that for every telephone call or fax or anything that goes out of the United States from an embassy here, there is an automatic copy retrieved by our NSA? He doesn't know. He is the poisonous pen that stirred Doe up. He said that one reason why we didn't move on Doe, because he stirred Doe up. For every telephone call or anything that leaves the United States from an embassy in the United States, an automatic copy is retrieved by the NSA. If it happens here in Liberia, they will, the people invasion of privacy and this and this. The most democratic country in the world, they got their setup there. You talk nonsense, they will hear it, they will deal with you.